Okay, you've all just spent some time sharing together something hard that's happened to you. Maybe that's everything that's happening in the world right now. But I have some good news for us. God is always with us, including in really hard times. The Bible tells us true stories of people who experienced hard times, and it tells us how God helped them. The Apostle Paul was one of these people. Do you remember who he is?
Paul is one of the followers of Jesus that we read a lot about in the New Testament. Paul went through a lot of hard times, lots of storms in his life. He went on several long trips to tell others about Jesus and to start new churches. Paul was thrown into jail because of his faith, because of his belief in and love for God. Was God with Paul when he was in jail? Of course, and Paul knew God was with him.
Do any of you know what the word joy means? Joy is a feeling of peace and happiness that only comes from God. Having joy is a choice. Even though it may seem that being in prison would keep Paul from being full of joy, it didn't. Paul continued to share about Jesus and encourage other believers even while he was in prison.
One way Paul encouraged other believers was through letters. He would write letters to the Christians in churches in other cities. One of those letters was to the Christians in a city called Philippi. In the Bible, the letter can be found as the book of Philippians. You just read the first chapter in the book of Philippians a few minutes ago. In his letter, Paul let the people know he was praying for them. He told them he was thankful for them, and he prayed they would continue to learn about Jesus and grow in love for Jesus. Paul was going through a hard time, but he didn't grumble or complain. Paul chose to praise God, even in his hard times.
When we are going through a hard time, we can stop and think about how we can honor and praise God, even in the midst of the hard time.